Have you ever noticed something strange? People remember you instantly when they need help, but somehow forget your name when you need them. Have you ever delayed your own dreams, your own plans, or even your own rest, just so someone else could finish their work? And later, when everything was done, they simply walked away like nothing happened. If you ever felt that way, then this story may feel very familiar to you because sometimes kindness without limits slowly turns into exhaustion. And sometimes the person who needs your help the most is actually you. In a small town near a quiet lake lived a young man named Ethan. Ethan was known as the most helpful person in the entire neighborhood. If someone's car stopped working in the middle of the road, they called Ethan. If someone needed help moving furniture, Ethan was there. If an elderly neighbor needed groceries, Ethan carried the bags. People often say, "Don't worry, Ethan, we'll handle it." At first, Ethan felt proud. Helping others made him feel useful. It made him feel important. But slowly, something strange began to happen. Ethan's own life started falling apart. The small workshop he dreamed of building remained unfinished. The books he wanted to read stayed closed on his desk. The guitar he once loved playing gathered dust in the corner of his room. One afternoon, Ethan was repairing his neighbor's broken gate. He had already been working there for 3 hours. As he hammered the last nail into the wood, his phone rang. Another neighbor needed help carrying heavy boxes. Ethan sighed, wiped sweat from his forehead, and said the same words he always said. "Sure, I'll be there in a minute." When he arrived home late that night, his younger sister looked at him and asked, "Do you ever get tired?" Ethan laughed softly. "A little," he replied. But the truth was he was exhausted, not just physically, emotionally, mentally. Deep inside, he felt something slowly draining his energy. One weekend, Ethan decided to visit the lakeside to clear his mind. The lake was calm, and the wind moved gently across the water. There he met Mr. Lewis, an old fisherman who had lived near the lake for many years. The old man noticed Ethan's tired face and asked, "You look like someone carrying the weight of the whole town." Ethan smiled weakly and sat beside him. After a moment of silence, Ethan shared everything. "How can helping people feel so heavy?" he asked. "I thought kindness was supposed to make your life better." Mr. Lewis dipped his fishing line into the water and said slowly, "Kindness is beautiful, but only when it includes yourself." Ethan looked confused. The old fisherman pointed to the lake. "See the boat?" A small wooden boat floated quietly near the shore. "If that boat spends all its time carrying other people," the old man said, "but never repairs its own crack, what will happen?" Ethan thought for a moment. "It will eventually sink." Mr. Lewis nodded. "This is exactly what happens to people who help everyone but forget themselves." Those words stayed in Ethan's mind. The next morning, something unusual happened. His neighbor knocked on the door. "Ethan, can you help me paint my fence today?" Ethan looked at the unfinished workshop behind his house. For months, he had promised himself he would finish it, but he never had time. This time, Ethan took a deep breath. "I'm sorry," he said gently. "Today I need to work on something important for myself." The neighbor looked surprised. "You're saying no?" Ethan nodded. "Yes, just today." The neighbor walked away, slightly confused. But Ethan did not chase after him like he normally would. Instead, he picked up his tools and walked to his unfinished workshop. For the first time in months, he worked on his own dream. That evening, something felt different. Ethan was not exhausted. He wasn't rushing from place to place. He simply sat in his new workshop and admired the progress he had made. The next few days brought similar situations. People asked for help. Sometimes Ethan agreed, sometimes he politely refused, and slowly something unexpected happened. People began solving their own problems. The town didn't collapse, the world didn't end. Instead, people started respecting Ethan's time more. They realized he wasn't someone they could use whenever they want. He was someone with his own life, his own priorities, his own dreams. Weeks passed. Ethan's workshop was finally finished. He started repairing old bicycles and tools for people in the town. But this time, he did it on his own terms. Not because he felt forced, but because he genuinely wanted to. One afternoon, Mr. Lewis visited the workshop. He looked around at the clean space and smiled. So, the old fisherman asked, "Did learning to say no ruin your kindness?" Ethan laughed. "No," he replied. "It actually saved it, because now his kindness came from strength, not exhaustion." So remember this, my friend. Helping others is beautiful. Kindness is powerful, but when you give everything away without protecting yourself, you slowly disappear. Sometimes the most important word you can learn is a simple no. Because when you respect your own time, your own energy, and your own peace, the world begins to respect them too. And this is the moment when your life truly becomes your own.